Hey, Cliff. Obviously, we're all getting a first look at what you guys are doing out there. When it comes to the drills and the practices, how much? What's your main goal with what you're trying to accomplish, particularly with the quarterbacks?
We just want to make everybody the best they can be in the room. I think DQ's been preaching competition the entire time, and so all those drills are just set up for us to get game-type reps and improve as players. And that's how it's set up. That's what we've talked about, and those guys have done a good job kind of straining in every drill.
The fact that you have Jaden, how much does that did that change anything you were looking to do, or just hey, this is what we do, and we're just gonna knowing his skill set, we'll just go forward?
Yeah, year in, year out, based on your personnel, you're always trying to maximize your personnel play to your strengths, and so we'll see what we have. We're just getting to know the guys, but once we figure that out, we'll build our offense around who we have and try to put the best product out there we can.
It's early, but what do you think of Jaden so far?
He's intentional in everything he does, which I like. That's what we had heard about him coming up, and that's what he's been since he's been here. He's been focused, intentional, and got to work. So that's been fun to be around.
What do you like about Luke McCaffrey?
I really like his story. He dealt with some adversity and he kept fighting, and bless you. And he loves football, loves it. He doesn't care if he plays quarterback, running back, whatever. He just wants to play, and that's fun to be around. Really smart, same type deal. I mean, he's up there all hours of the day trying to learn and trying to get it down. And every drill we do, he's full speed, so you can work with that.
And having been with Zach Ertz in Arizona, I mean, what does he bring to the tight ends room, not only on the field but in helping some of the younger guys?
He's really embracing that role. I think at this stage in his career, he's had such an incredible career, and we got some bright young prospects in that room. And so watching him help coach him, he knows he's a great player. He knows what he can do. So he's very secure in his role and who he is at this point in his career. And so that's been awesome to see him kind of leave his legacy with those guys, with how he treats them, how he works with them, how he coaches them up.
What's your process for building and installing your offense?
Yeah, I think every stop, it's been different. The one major thing I try to do is make sure this was year one of the Commanders offense, not year 5 of the Arizona Cardinals. So you want to start back with a real base install and then build it and grow it and go from there.
And what kind of a learner is Jaden?
He works really hard at it. So we've only had him a couple of days, but he works really hard at it. And, what I liked most probably about the college tape is just the drastic improvement you saw year in, year out. I mean, that shows that the guy's putting in the work and studying and doing those things you have to do to try and be great.
Coach, can you share some early thoughts on your running back room and kind of what your early impressions are of those guys?
It's been awesome. B-Rob has a certain joy about him. I'm sure y'all been around him, just playing the game, always smiling, always into it, high energy, high effort, walkthroughs are full speed for him. And then Austin, just an underdog story that came in, became one of the best running backs in the league, really, when you're talking about being able to do it all. So they really complement each other well. They feed off each other, and so we're really excited about that room.
And then a lot of guys have really kind of talked about your willingness to take their input and kind of help fold that in. Can you just talk about your theology behind being that kind of a leader?
Yeah, I think I learned a quote a while back, good ideas know no rank. And so if you got a good idea, I want to hear it. It's not always going to go in, and they know that, but I'm going to listen to it. And a lot of times these guys have been other places, whether it's San Fran or Philly or somewhere where they've had a lot of success. And if there's a better way to do it, I'm all about it.
We all see Jaden putting in the work at practice, throwing, but what are some of the things that we don't see that's really impressed you about Jaden?
Yeah, like I said, just everything he does is intentional. He has a plan for studying, he has a plan for practice, has a plan for watching film. He knows what he wants to be and where he wants to go, and to be that young and come in there with that mindset is really encouraging.
Dan talked about mentorship, veterans to the players, coaches to the players. Who's taking on that role with Jaden?
We got a bunch of former quarterbacks, on the offense, whether it's Brian, Tavita, myself, David Blau, and then we got Marcus, who's played a lot of years and been a starter in the league for a lot of years. So I think all of us are really excited to work with him, and any pointers, tips, things we can help him grow and expedite the process, we're definitely here for it.
How do you make sure when you have all those guys who can give that input that you're not overloading with input or making sure that the message is what you need it to be?
Yeah, you just make sure they're the right guys, smart guys. We meet every day, talk through things. We're going to cover this, that, and the other, have a great plan, and go out there and put it together.
And then with guys like Austin and Zach, what kind of little things can they impart to the group out here?
Yeah, they've seen the highs and lows. They've seen the good teams, the bad teams, and so just talking through what a good team looked like, what their standards were, their practices, how guys worked, and then the teams that could have been good and weren't. What were the pitfalls with that? So they've all been really good as far as sharing that, been open and been leaders, which is not easy to do when you come into a new place. But they've really embraced it, and I think the guys have embraced them.
You've been through this before. When you see rookies come in, what do you see in their eyes the first time they see your playbook and what has to be done?
Yeah, I mean, it's a new world, there's no doubt. But, they're here for a reason. They have worked their entire life to be here, and that's what I talk about. It's like you worked your entire life to be here, but you get one time to make a first impression. So put in the work. Make sure you have no regrets when you leave here, whether it's training camp or after training camp, or you make the team, play 12 years, have no regrets through this process. And I've been really pleased with how the rookie class so far has approached it.
And you've been a head coach, you've been other places. The vibe here, we've all been here and seen the downtimes. What's the vibe you're getting from your entire staff?
Yeah, DQ sets the tone, DQ and AP. They want to bring positive energy, high energy, want these guys to want to be in the building and do the best job we can coaching. And so that definitely trickles down to all of us assistants and all the players. And so I've been really pleased and been really happy to be here and be around those guys because of the tone they've set in the building.
Did the hat work today, by the way, for the rain?
There's still UV rays, so that's what it was for, yeah.
Okay, got it.
Spring practice warm-up. You seem to be as enthusiastic as anyone in that. What does that bring to the table? How does that kind of get practice moving, and what's important about it?
Yeah, it just sets the tone. I mean, if you can go out there and the first thing you're doing is having energy and going crazy and getting guys going, then, anybody else can do it as well. So DQ really encourages that. He wants to set the tone with that drill, and it's been fun. I think, if I'm ever a head coach again, I'll definitely do that.
Adam said that fairly early on he had a sense that Jaden was going to be the guy, at least earlier than the public knew. When for you did you kind of sense that, and how was that process of figuring out who you got in that tag?
Yeah, it was awesome working with those two guys. I was along for the ride. It was cool for me because when I was in Arizona, he was at ASU, so I'd been following him. I was so impressed. I remember him beating Oregon and like a true freshman doing what he's doing. But this was AP's deal, and he had a good feel for it, and I felt very strongly as well, so it worked out.
You mentioned that you got to kind of go slow, and this is year one of the installation. How do you navigate not going too fast and keeping the speed right with a young quarterback?
Yeah, that's the hard part. Over 4 years, like when we first got Kyler, it didn't start out what it ended up year 4, year 3. It was like we did things that we felt he could be really successful at and then try to build and let him grow and us grow together. And we wanted to make sure I didn't start at some point that would overwhelm anybody. And I think that's, as an OC, that's always a tricky part. You have a lot of good stuff that you've collected over the years. You've got to make sure it's simple enough that guys can have confidence and build and grow together.
Do you have everything that you want to use, and you'll pare things away or figure out what to accentuate with him, or is it something where you'll come up with something new throughout this process?
A little of both, yeah. We'll continue to take ideas, and if there's stuff that he was really good at in college, that's to me a good starting point to build off that and get that comfort level going early and taking it from there.
I know it's early, but are there some things in the playbook where he maybe is a little bit further ahead than you would have anticipated at this point?
Yeah, his football IQ is really high. I think protections, I've been really impressed by that. A lot of guys coming in to the league, that's not a area that they major in college. They don't have a lot of time. It's 4 hours per day. They have rules, but he's really well versed in the protections, and he works at it.
Why do you think that is?
Yeah, I think Coach Kelly, Coach Sloan there at LSU. Coach Kelly is phenomenal offensive mind, always has been. He's very demanding, coaches him hard, and you can tell that Jaden bought into that and really studied it because he's farther ahead definitely than I thought.
He's trying to be a sponge, but has he also, because of who he is, come to you and said, look, there's something that I like and we could do?
Yeah, we're working through that part. I've always told those guys, if you like it, tell me. If you don't like it, tell me. I think it's the best play in the world. If you don't like it, it's not going to work. And that's kind of the relationship I want to have with those guys. And as we get more comfortable together, I think we'll have that type of dialogue.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Coach.